Carlos Alcaraz has done it. Under the blazing lights of Rod Laver Arena, in front of a roaring global audience, the 22-year-old Spanish superstar has finally conquered Melbourne and won the Australian Open 2026, delivering a performance that didn't just crown him champion, but stamped his name permanently into tennis history. This wasn't just a title win. This was the moment Carlos Alcaraz completed the career Grand Slam, becoming the youngest man ever to lift all 4 major trophies, a feat that generations of legends chased and only a select few ever achieved. From the first ball he struck in Melbourne, there was a sense that this tournament meant something different to Alcaraz. The Australian Open had always been the missing piece, the one slam that kept escaping him. This year, he arrived sharper, stronger, and mentally tougher than ever before. Every round felt like a statement. Every match felt like a warning. Carlos Alcaraz was not in Australia to participate. He was there to finish the job. His path to the final was anything but easy. He battled heat, pressure, hostile moments, and opponents who threw everything at him. Yet with every challenge, Alcaraz responded with the fearless tennis that has made him the most electrifying player of his generation. His speed across the court looked unreal, his forehand exploded off the strings, and his trademark drop shots left crowds gasping and rivals guessing. But it was his mindset that stood out most, calm under chaos. Brave when it mattered most. The semifinal pushed him to the absolute limit. Locked in a brutal, marathon battle that stretched deep into the night, Alcaraz dug into reserves few knew he had. Cramping, exhausted, and tested physically and mentally, he refused to back down. Point after point, game after game, he fought like a champion who knew destiny was calling. When the final ball was struck and victory was secured, Alcaraz collapsed to the court, not just from exhaustion, but from the weight of what he had just survived. It was the kind of match that defines careers. Then came the final. Across the net stood Novak Djokovic, the king of Melbourne, a legend chasing history of his own. 10 Australian Open titles, countless battles, unmatched experience on this stage. Many believed this was the ultimate test Alcaraz still had to pass, and early on it looked like the pressure might be too much. Djokovic stormed through the opening set, using his precision and experience to take control. The crowd felt the tension. The doubts crept in. Was this mountain finally too high? Carlos Alcaraz answered the only way he knows how, by attacking, by believing, by refusing to be intimidated by reputation or history. He raised his level dramatically, stepping inside the baseline, ripping forehands past Djokovic, chasing down impossible balls, and turning defense into jaw-dropping offense. The second set shifted everything. Suddenly the energy changed. Suddenly the champion in waiting was no longer waiting. As the match wore on, Alcaraz's youth, hunger, and fearlessness began to shine. He absorbed Djokovic's best shots and sent them back with interest. He mixed power with touch, aggression with intelligence. Every drop shot brought the crowd to its feet. Every roar from Alcaraz echoed confidence. The third set swung firmly in his favor, and for the first time, the impossible began to feel inevitable. The fourth set was pure drama. Djokovic fought back, digging deep, refusing to surrender his throne without a fight. The rallies grew longer. The points grew heavier. Every game felt like it could decide history. At the tightest moment, with everything on the line, Alcaraz delivered his best tennis. He played bold when safe options tempted him. He trusted his instincts. He trusted himself. When match point arrived, time seemed to freeze. One last serve, one final exchange, and then it was over. Carlos Alcaraz dropped his racket, raised his arms, and let the emotion pour out. The crowd erupted. History had been made. The Australian Open had a new champion. As he lifted the Norman Brooks Challenge Cup, tears filled his eyes. This was more than a trophy. This was the completion of a journey that began when he was a child dreaming of following in the footsteps of his idols. Roland Garros, Wimbledon, US Open. Now, finally, the Australian Open. All 4 slams, all conquered before the age of 23. The tennis world reacted instantly. Fans flooded social media. Legends praised him. Analysts called it the defining moment of a new era. Many said this victory confirmed what they had long believed. Carlos Alcaraz is not just the future of tennis, he is the present. His style, his personality, his humility, and his competitive fire have made him a global icon. But what truly makes this victory unforgettable is the way he did it. Not by waiting for opportunities, but by creating them. Not by playing safe, but by playing brave. Not by hiding from pressure, but by embracing it fully. This Australian Open victory wasn't handed to Carlos Alcaraz. He earned it with courage, resilience, and belief. As the lights dimmed in Melbourne and the crowd slowly filed out, one truth remained clear. Tennis has entered a new chapter. A chapter led by a champion who plays with joy, fights with heart, and rises when it matters most. Carlos Alcaraz, Australian Open champion, career Grand Slam winner, and the youngest man in history to achieve it all, has officially arrived at the very top of the sport. And this story is only just beginning.